Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you may have already guessed it from the title of this video, today I'm going to be installing two brothers 2-to-1 turnout exhaust. So without wasting too much time, let's get to it. Alright, let's do a quick unboxing. Alright, so here we go. Got a bag of goodies with all the clamps and other hardware. The two pipes, two heat shields, and the muffler. As you can see, it's got a black tip that's slightly turned out. Alright, I was going to get the TBR in flat black, but based on the videos that I've seen and the reviews that I read, the coating on it is very easily scratchable, so I kind of wanted to avoid that. And I like the fact that once this thing is burnt in, it's going to have a nice patina going on the exhaust. So that's the reason why I got this. Alright, let's get this thing, let's get the stock one taken off and get this thing installed. Alright guys, let's get the stock mufflers off. In order to do that, the bottom one's pretty easy. The bolts are all exposed. The top looks like I have to take this heat shield off in order to get to the two bolts that are on the back. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, the mufflers are off. Now we're going to take the rest of the exhaust off, but before we do that, we have to unplug the oxygen sensors. There's one on this pipe and one over here. So in order to get to the cable for this oxygen sensor, we have to take this plate off. Alright, so in order to get to these bolts here, we have to remove the oil cooler shroud and move the oil cooler out of the way to get to that back bolt. Before we remove the rest of the exhaust, I'm going to remove the foot peg and the brake pedal to get it out of the way, to give more clearance to remove this. And regardless, we're going to need to have this thing removed because we're going to have to put spacers in there later on. Alright, now that the stock exhaust is off, we're going to reuse a couple of parts. So the clips, retaining clips, and the flanges need to be removed and transferred onto two brothers. Alright, we're going to use the two provided flanges into the new exhaust. And then attached the O2 sensors. But before we do that, let's get everything tightened. Alright, so before installing the new exhaust, we have to remove the old bracket and install the new provided bracket. Before we do, there are two black clips that we need to insert. Alright. Get this thing aligned, tightened. Here we go. Alright, now that the exhaust is loosely installed, there are two springs that they send you and this little spring tool. So basically you have to attach these two pipes to the muffler. There's a little clip here and a clip on each pipe. Alright, hopefully you can see these are the springs that I was telling you about. And that's from the top. Alright, let's get everything tightened up and install the pads. Before I go ahead and put the foot peg and the brake pedal back on, let's put the heat shields on. Two brothers supply the clamps. They go on the inside. Position them in such a way that it's easy to access with your screwdriver or a socket. Alright guys, the exhaust is on, the heat shields are on. Before you finish or anything, make sure you wipe down your exhaust and your heat shields, because once you start and it starts to heat up, all those fingerprints and dirt, whatever was left on it, will be imprinted, especially on the stainless steel version. Alright guys, and finally the foot peg and brake pedal. Before we do install it, they send you 3 new bushings, because the peg needs to come out just slightly so it doesn't rub the exhaust. So smaller bushing goes on the brake pedal, and the 2 bigger ones go on the peg mount. Alright, they also send you 3 new bolts, the short one and 2 long ones. Obviously you know which one goes where. Alright, let's get this thing installed. Alright guys, the exhaust is installed. Let's get this thing started up and see what it sounds like. Ran it through a first cycle, and as you can see, it's already starting to develop a nice color. Alright guys, so that was the install of Two Brothers Turnout exhaust. The install is pretty straightforward. Just take your time. There are a couple of stubborn bolts and just in hidden locations. But other than that, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Finally, Harley sounds like a Harley should from the factory. It is definitely a lot louder, a lot deeper tone, as you heard. Clearly you don't get a full effect of what the exhaust sounds like through a mic on the camera, but believe me, it does sound pretty loud and it does sound very, very deep. So as always, hopefully this video was useful for you. If it was, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.